guys. Ariane and I are at the Airstream today, deep in trying to get this thing done. So we're hanging drawers, just lots of odds and ends now in the final stages of this renovation that's really taken about a year longer than what we thought it was going to take. And so I thought I'd discuss with you exactly why we bought a vintage Airstream, what were we going to get out of it, and really I would say the top three things that we got out of redoing a 1976 Airstream Argosy. And I think it's really important. So I have to say the very first thing that we really got out of renovating our Argosy was that it's the journey. And with everything else, just like when we go backpacking on a trail, or when we prep for a long distance trail, or we do something we've never done before, it's always kind of magical going along on the journey. And with our Airstream renovation, even though it has taken a much longer time than what we originally thought, it really has ended up being the journey, the process, going through it and seeing it go from a little piece of scrap to a very beautiful thing that we did ourselves. And that's the really cool thing about it is that we've done it ourselves. We put the time and the effort into it, and the journey to get to the process of actually pulling it and towing it has been a super wonderful ride. And so yeah, the journey gets frustrating, but it's been a great journey so far. So I think that would be the first thing that I would say of what we got out of the renovation was the journey that Ariane and I both have been able to go on together in this process. I think the second thing that we really got out of this process, and this is probably the most important, was that renovating a vintage Airstream Argosy is hard. It's a lot of work. It's work that we didn't really expect to know everything about it, but it's the hard that makes it great. That's a famous line in A League of Their Own with Gina Davis and Tom Hanks.
It's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, everyone would do it. The hard is what makes it great.
And that's what we have really gotten out of this Airstream renovation, is that we look at it, and sometimes, I mean, I'll admit, I mean, I was in a fetal position, almost bawling my eyes out at one point in time. The panic attacks, the worries, the how's it going to work? Do we know what we're doing? And that's all part of the journey. But it's how great the hard work is. I mean, we did this all by ourselves. It's everything that you're going to see in this Airstream is custom made, thought out, repurposed, which was another great part of the journey, was repurposing all of this old material on this farm and incorporating it into the design of our Airstream Argosy, which was so cool. But I think in all that process was, man, this is kind of hard. This is not going to be a quick turnaround. This is going to take time. Ariane and I both worked full-time jobs. We had no corporate sponsors. Nobody gave us a dime for any of this stuff. Yet we worked hard, we got through it, and everything about the renovation, it is hard, folks. I mean, I'm telling you, it's hard to do, but it's the hard that makes it great. If you want to build self-esteem in your life, if you want to build self-confidence in your life, take on a project like this that you know nothing about and learn from it and see what you accomplished. Building self-esteem means you got to do esteemable things, and it's the hard that makes it great. When we went backpacking, when I did the Appalachian Trail, it was freaking hard. It's hard to live out of a backpack and live in a tent for 6 months. But look at everything that you get to experience. Look at the beautifulness of it. And yeah, you embraced the suck on the trail, and we certainly embraced the suck renovating an Airstream Argosy for sure. I think the third thing that we learned the most, and this is probably the most rewarding thing of renovating our Airstream Argosy, was everything that we learned. I think as you go through life, the more you learn and absorb and go through is called experience, right? So who doesn't want to learn more things in their life? I'm constantly trying to learn how to do things, how that works, how that gadget works, whatever the case is. I love learning stuff. That's how, that's why I became so obsessed with the backpacking cultures, because there's always a new way, a simpler way to make your life a little bit easier when you're hiking a long distance trail. And that's the beauty of the Airstream renovation process. And that is why I would tell people to do it. The cool thing about this is that I learned plumbing. I learned 12 volt electrical. I learned 30 amp electrical. I learned solar. I learned fresh water, plumbing, you name it. All of that had to take place in a 190 square foot camper trailer. So those are the kind of things that I'm talking about, is that they were just so rewarding. After you after you do it and you accomplish it, and you turn on the water for the first time, or you turn on a light switch for the first time, and everything works. So I think that's the biggest thing is you learn something, you put it into practice, and you apply it to your life, and it works. And everything about what Ariane and I have been able to accomplish with the Airstream Argosy renovation or restoration has just really, really boosted self-confidence. And like, yeah, I could wire up that 12 volt system, or yeah, I can probably diagnose a plumbing issue and an electrical issue in a camper trailer. And so those are the kind of things that we think have been the most rewarding about renovating the Airstream Argosy. Now, for other people that are doing it, we get you, man. We feel your pain, especially when you're doing it yourselves. Now, other people that have had corporate sponsors and a lot of help, all the power to you. But a lot of us, real Argosy people that are renovating these old Airstreams and or Argosys that are doing it yourself, all the power to you. We follow this channel right now. The channel is Allison Morrow, and hope I pronounced that right. And the other day, they're renovating a Airstream, vintage Airstream, and they found a yellow jacket nest in the floor, which is really typical. My first thought was, wow, that's like a rite of passage. So we found a dead possum in our Airstream. We found an ant nest in our Airstream when we first gutted it. And those are the kind of the memories. That's part of the journey, and the looking around, and all of your friends look at you when it's completely gutted, and they say, "Are you crazy?" And that's the hard work you put into it, and the big payoff is when you finally see it done. And that's where we're at with our Airstream Argosy. It's just a couple more details here and there. I still have to kind of paint the back a little bit and prime that. But anyway, we're weeks away from painting the outside of the Airstream and having it completely done. We also have to reupholster a couple things too. But this whole other video that I'm going to shoot is really a long video about the whole process and how we repurposed almost everything in this Airstream to keep our cost at a minimal. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So anyway, you guys, thanks for following us. Subscribe to our channel. Give it a thumbs up. We really appreciate all the support community has given us. The podcast is doing great, by the way, and we just really enjoy bringing good content to you. Really super appreciate it. Again, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and follow us on our journey. We'll see you guys later. Bye.